Er, all right, I think we're live right now, Jacob.
Awesome.
Welcome to anyone who has joined the stream.
Is my camera what direction do you need me to move?
If you move to your right, that would be great.
My right. So that would be like this. See if that changes anything.
No,
Other way?
like toward point right and turn your camera there. Or
Point right.
point right and turn your camera the opposite direction.
So if I turn it this way.
There you go.
No.
There you go.
You want to? Yep. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We are just waiting. We could talk about what draft prospects though we're interested in looking at right now.
Well, I think I'm more interested right now in looking at first overall because I
Me
think
too.
that's a mystery for a lot of people.
I think it is. I mean, we've there's been loads of names thrown out there, primarily like Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball, but it's definitely an odd year in how really anyone could really go number one in my opinion. Like I was talking about it earlier, like this could be a year where some team, say Minnesota doesn't like either of the prospects that much, kind of goes like the safer route. Like there could be a lot of stuff that happens tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I think Minnesota is focused on getting a guard to put next to D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if they're looking at getting a forward or if there is a forward that's worth going first overall. And obviously they're not going to get James. Karl Anthony Towns exists.
Yeah, I would
Like
agree.
I don't think Obi Toppin is draft. Him and maybe Denny Avdija. But I don't think either of them are like first overall pick quality players. I think that's either LaMelo Ball or Edwards.
No, I would agree with that. Sorry, I'm trying to switch back to one of my other microphones, so just keep talking for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think they go with either LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards. I think for the sake of getting a shooting guard, they probably go Anthony Edwards. But if they want someone who can put up, 11 assists a night, and just keep feeding D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns the ball, I think they go with LaMelo Ball. I think they could realistically pick either guy. I don't think they trade out of this first overall pick. I think they use it to their advantage as best they can. And I think it's going to be either LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards. And then we get to the second overall pick, and I think that's where the most chaos is going to be. Because I think the Warriors are going to pick either James Wiseman, who, I mean, they need a center, and James Wiseman is the best center in this class. Or they trade out of it and try and get more capital later on in the night. Like, I think a couple teams are interested in trading up. My Knicks are obviously in that conversation, and they're not ruling it out. I don't think.
No,
they're willing to. I think they're willing to open and they're open to listen to offers, and if they really like one, then they're gonna say yes to it. Like I think as long as they're getting capital and they're able to get maybe a center, maybe not even James Wiseman, like if they can get Onyeka, I think is his name.
Onyeka Okongwu,
they could get that center with the 8th overall pick that the Knicks have. Like if they're okay with trading back and still getting a center.
Yeah, there's so many different possibilities, and it's actually kind of rare for NBA draft to have so many possibilities. Last year, Zion was clearly going to be number one overall pretty much as soon as he stepped on the floor at Duke. But that is not the case this year. I can see a lot of it. I can see a lot of scenarios. I definitely do think. I mean, and I have seen reports that the number one pick is basically a lock. Unless there's barring a trade, the number one pick is definitely a lock for both Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball. It's just going to be either one because the Timberwolves are not going to take James Wiseman. That just makes no sense. And if you listen to my previous episode, covering the draft, I really hope the Warriors take Wiseman. I know it's not really like there's definitely other picks out there. But I think James Wiseman, and I think that would just be so cool for him because like I talked about, if you look at that Warriors roster, there is not a center on that roster. Not even like a terrible big guy that no one's ever heard of. There's literally not a center on that roster, and he's definitely your kind of prototypical modern NBA center that can step out, shoot, hit a good high percentage of shots, can run the floor, and he's just massive. He's like 7'1", 240. There's nothing really not to like about the kid, besides that he's not played a lot of games in recent years.
Yeah, and I think that's the big question mark for him for sure. Is the fact that he only played a couple and then got hit with a suspension and then said, you know what, I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to declare for the NBA draft because I think I'm that good. And he's going to be a top 5 pick regardless of who he goes to. He could very well go second overall to a team that could be in contention for another championship if all their pieces stay healthy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. If James Wiseman didn't have to go to college, he wouldn't have. He would have. If this was 20 years ago, he would have just gone straight to he would have gone straight to the draft. Don't have to worry about college. But since that's not that's not how it operates anymore, he had to go. And unfortunately, he did kind of make a stupid decision and going with Memphis to with Penny Hardaway, who he's known for a long time. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it wasn't really the smartest decision by him. But that's in the past now. It doesn't.
I think it was a tampering issue.
It was. I think there was something there. So I feel like the NCAA is always gonna find some dirt on you if you've known someone for more than they've been recruiting you. At least that's just my opinion. But that's in the past now. It doesn't matter now. Within 2 hours, he's gonna be a millionaire playing in the greatest league in basketball world, whatever. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter now, and it's really just kind of because if James Wiseman doesn't go to the Warriors, the Hornets will obviously take him. They''ve been looking for a big guy, the entire process. They would be ecstatic if he fell that far, but I just would love to see Wiseman on the Warriors. Think about it. Has there ever been a team who was finished bottom 3 in their conference and then heading into next season is like a legit title contender? I can't really think of one.
It would be quite the worst to first story for the Warriors, considering everything they went through last season. That 5 would look like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman if they do choose.
Tell me
to
that's not the best lineup
overall.
in the league right there.
That's scary.
That's ridiculous. It's an
for
all-star team.
Years, considering contracts.
That's an all-star starting lineup. It's that's multiple All-NBA guys. You got Defensive Player of the Year awards. I mean, everyone likes to hate on Wiggins because he isn't the greatest thing since whatever. Because he was number 1 pick and he's not a perennial all-star, but he's still a great player. And then obviously James Wiseman is James
22.
Wiseman.
He was drafted first overall very recently.
It was 6 years ago, but Andrew Wiggins is still a great player. He's definitely an above average NBA player.
Right.
He just doesn't really defend well. But it pisses me off when everyone knocks on Andrew Wiggins because I know this personally because I'm a massive Kansas fan. There were reports that Andrew Wiggins before the draft was the best thing since LeBron, and obviously he wasn't. And because he got those name tags, he hasn't really lived up to what LeBron's status is. Everyone's like, oh, he sucks. He's a bust. No, he's not. He's a great player. He's better than a lot of other top picks. He's a great player, and he's going to be a great. I think also it really helped him to get out of that Minnesota climate because I just don't think they really meshed well with him. But I'm really excited for the future of the Warriors, even if they don't take James Wiseman, but I beg they do.
Yeah. I think like obviously that's the obvious pick for them if they don't trade away is to get James Wiseman. And okay, so let's say like I LaMelo or Anthony Edwards go first overall to Minnesota. James Wiseman goes second to Golden State. Who goes third? Who do you think?
Who goes third? I'll let you take that for a second. I need to fix something.
All right. Well, I think it starts with obviously Charlotte doesn't really like they need a they don't really have point of strength. Their best guy on the floor is arguably Devontae Graham, their point guard. So they could really use anybody in this draft. They could pick up whoever doesn't go first overall, either LaMelo or Anthony Edwards. They could go for Obi Toppin, the power forward out of Dayton. They could go for Denny Avdija out of Israel. A lot of options that they can choose from. And I think the if the second overall pick is not, as much of a mystery as people think it is, then number 3 is definitely going to be a weird pick for a lot of people, especially if James Wiseman, doesn't go second. Because if he doesn't go second, then I think he definitely goes third, like Josh said. But if he does go second, Charlotte could go in a lot of different directions.
There's so many different avenues that teams could go this year. If I had to pick if you listen to my previous episode, I did make my prediction for who I thought was going to go third. And if you guys aren't familiar with Charlotte's draft history, it's nothing to be that pleased about. I mean, obviously they took Devontae Graham second round a couple of years back, and that's definitely popped. Shout out to Devontae Graham, one of my favorite players. But if you look back at the Charlotte Hornets draft history, for the last decade or so, it's not good. They have not drafted well, and I'm predicting that they're not going to draft well tonight. And I was trying to think of who kind of fits that mold for someone that Charlotte would draft, and who kind of fits what they're looking for. And my mind immediately went to Onyeka Okongwu because he's pretty much listed as the second best big man in this year's draft. I don't really agree with that, and I definitely think he's not really going to have a great NBA career. That's just my opinion, and I could definitely see that as someone that Charlotte takes because, yes, they definitely lack a big guy, that's for sure, and they've always been looking for a big guy this draft process. And if Wiseman goes to the Warriors, I think they take Okongwu like that. I think they jump on that, and I think he doesn't turn out great, and then it kind of fits that mold that Charlotte Hornets make a bad draft choice.
Sure. Yeah. Could they reach for that center? They very well could. They definitely have a massive hole at center, and they've got little holes everywhere else. I don't know if they should reach for Okongwu. I don't think he's that worth reach for. If you want to, trade back and let someone else pick third to try and get him, that's totally fine with me. I think that makes more sense than trying to reach for him at 3. But I think if you want to pick with the third overall pick, I think you go with whoever didn't go first overall out of Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball. I think you go with the other guy that Minnesota didn't take, and you build with that guy and Devontae Graham as your backcourt of the.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I just want to say shout out to Sohail, who's actually watching this right now. But yeah, I also want to talk about who the Bulls could take because I think that's actually one of the biggest questions in this draft. Because I could see them trading, I could see them, maybe going which I think Anthony Edwards could fall. I could see them absolutely taking Anthony Edwards. I think they could go a lot of different directions. I've heard a lot of people say that Denny, I can never see his last name. It was like Denny Avdija is a good choice.
Avdija.
Yeah, Denny Avdija is a good lock for them. But I think it's really interesting. I don't really like them taking a guard though because they already got Zach LaVine and Kobe White. But I think someone that's kind of like a 3 or a 4, which Denny Avdija is, could be really interesting for him. and because because the Bulls have also taken international players before.
Yeah, and you see how Lauri Markkanen have turned out for them in terms of drafting international, and I think Lauri ends up being the factor in terms of who gets drafted here, because I think it'll come down to who do you have more faith in, and who do you think is not going to get dealt out of their power forward Lauri Markkanen and their small forward Otto Porter. I think they want to stick with Wendell Carter, and I think that's why they won't take a center. So I think it comes down to who's going to dangle as better trade bait. Who do you want to keep around to help build this sort of young and fun Bulls team that is on the rise?
Yeah, I can definitely see it. Like I said, I can really see him doing anything really. I've talked about this a little bit. I would be honestly shocked if someone doesn't trade for a top 5 pick tonight, because I think this is definitely a draft where there's going to be a lot of trades. We've already seen a lot of trades already, and I think definitely
a lot of trades have already happened.
I'm not sure which team though would go out and trade. I think maybe the Knicks could do it if they really wanted to. I'm trying to think of any other teams that really come to mind at first, but they don't. But yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm so excited. I can't wait till 8 o'clock rolls upon us.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Can I butt in for a little bit, because I just got an ESPN notification that is sort of relevant to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Klay Thompson just got hurt.
What? What do you mean?
He hurt his knee. Hang on, let me find the article.
Is it serious or just like...
They're going to evaluate it to see if it is serious.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that.
Let's see. Yeah, Woj just tweeted. Klay Thompson will undergo testing within the next few days on a leg injury suffered in a workout in Southern California today. The severity of the injury is unclear.
Also, that
if that's the same knee that he busted up the last time he got hurt, that could be huge.
I also have an update to that report from Sham Sharina. I can never say this dude's name. I'm so bad at pronouncing names, but he's definitely one of the top, NBA analysts or reporter guys. Klay Thompson was unable to place weight on his lower leg leaving the gym today, sources said. Everyone is hoping for the best. So that could either be, I've even had it.
It doesn't sound like a knee injury.
No, it's lower leg.
It doesn't sound like a knee injury.
It's still not good, but it's definitely I feel like that could be something that he because the season is definitely coming up close, but I think that's something that could definitely heal a couple weeks time.
Yeah, there's nothing important there as much as there is in your knee.
No, but there could be. You could have like a sprain or something, but it's nothing. It's not something that I'm overly concerned about.
Take you out for a long time, but
no. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. Thank you for the update, though. I would have never seen that. But yeah, definitely something interesting and definitely something to keep an eye on. Jacob, my question for you is this: who do you have most faith out of making the best selection tonight in terms of the top 5 teams? Like, who do you have the most faith making the right choice?
All right. Well, we've got. I just want to list out 1. Golden State 2, Charlotte 3, Chicago 4. Who picks 5? Actually, I don't know off the top of my head. Cleveland picks 5. All right. Well, I think out of those 5 picks, I think Golden State has the easiest job, because I think they have either 2 choices. I think they go and they draft Wiseman, or they trade their pick away. And I don't think there's a whole lot of in between, because they don't really have a place of need anywhere else. I think they have 2 options. Excuse me. And they've only got 2 options. I think they have the easiest job out of these top 5 picks.
Yeah, I like that move. I also could see, I probably would go the same and say Golden State, because they're not, because obviously all the rest of these teams definitely are not looking to win the title next year. So I actually could argue that the Golden State. Well, you could look at it both ways. You could look at it that Golden State, even if they whiff on this pick, they still got a great team around them. Or you could argue on the other side that if Golden State does make the right pick, that they're probably maybe even a finals favorite, even though how bad they played last year. So it's definitely. I'm not gonna say Golden State because you just say Golden State. I'm gonna say Charlotte because I definitely like Charlotte's future. I really like Graham. I think they got a couple other good players that have not really popped yet, but they're definitely good developmental players. And if they get another one here, I definitely think they could be like an 8 or 7 seed come playoff time.
But do you have faith in them?
No,
making
I do
that
not.
Smart decision. That'll
No,
go
I do
forward.
not.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm saying who. Well, that actually was the question, so never mind.
That's fine. I think if it's not Golden State, I think it's definitely Cleveland, because I think they do take a forward and they take either Obi Toppin or Denny Avdija, whoever the Bulls don't take.
Yeah,
I don't think they go with a
that.
guard because they've already got Darius Garland and Colin Sexton.
I don't like Garland, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean he showed some rookie flash.
Wasn't he rated the worst defender in basketball?
Something like that in terms. Yeah, some numbers geeks. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna butt in again. Another trade.
Draft trade
involving the Houston Rockets and the Detroit Pistons.
Ooh, interesting.
The Houston Rockets are receiving a future first, so not but a first rounder, probably next year or the year after. And the Detroit Pistons are getting the 16th overall pick tonight and Trevor Ariza.
That is not. Oh, that well, not to make fun of you, but that trade was already known. But
was it already known?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
It just got dropped.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Well, I'm now learning about this. So
no, but no, I want.
There's my first reaction. You guys got my first reaction.
I think it's kind of a move that it's like, whatever. I think it's actually pretty relatively equal trade. I mean, Trevor Ariza obviously is definitely getting older. Who did they get for him though?
For like who did the
It was
Rockets
Trevor
get
Ariza and
for
someone else.
It was Ariza and a pick tonight in exchange for a future first rounder.
No, but there was a player too.
Was there?
I think there was
a player.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I can look. Let's see. Oh, well, they already dealt. Okay, so previously, like yesterday. So they flipped Trevor Ariza because they picked him up last night. You might be thinking of the trade last night.
Okay, never mind.
So there was a trade last night that sent Robert Covington to the Blazers.
Yeah, that was it.
For Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks.
That was
Is
probably
that what you were thinking of?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So they sent Trevor Ariza and the same first round from Portland. They sent that to Detroit.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice trade. It's nothing really to like geek out over or anything, but I like the move for both teams. Honestly, nothing really else to it. I mean, obviously, there are some trades that are definitely like I don't know. Did you see the Al Horford trade that actually just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Like that,
yeah,
like that in itself is definitely a big trade. But there are like lots of other trades that really you don't talk about that really don't mean anything. But I actually would like to talk about that Al Horford trade. In that is definitely, let me tell you, the Thunder definitely are not seeking out Al Horford. That's not the point of this trade. The point of this trade is that the Sixers clear some cap space so that they can go sign someone elite. That is what happened right there.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think they picked up Danny Green, who spent about 3 days with Oklahoma City, um, so that there's at least some outside shooting. Ben Simmons, I don't think gives that to them. Yeah, this is a cap dump by Philadelphia, 100%. I think, and we were talking about this a little bit before we went live. I think Horford either gets bought out or he gets flipped tonight. Like he could get flipped tonight for a crap ton of picks if someone wants to bring on that contract.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I don't know. I'm not sure who they go out and get, but it could be really interesting. Let me tell you, I haven't been a fan of Philadelphia in terms of like their management and head coach decisions, but if they go out and get someone that fits their team well, I mean that could completely swing their momentum.
Mm.
All right, so it is 7:00 right now. We are really closing up. We are closing up on the draft pretty darn soon. Does it start at 8 or 7:30? It'll probably start closer to 8.
They said 7:30.
It'll probably
They've
be closer
been
to
saying 7:30.
That's like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be
That's
closer
what
to 8.
that's what like
7:30 is probably going to be the preview stuff.
Yeah, but that's like it's kind of like I bet it's similar to like what's like Sunday Night Football does. They're like, ooh, the game like coverage starts at 8:00 and it starts at like 8:25.
Right.
But yeah, definitely getting closer. I'm very excited. It's gonna be so.
Yeah,
It's gonna be so insane.
Yeah,
if Lamelo
any
Ball goes
draft
number
night,
one.
regardless of what sport it is, always gives me butterflies. Even though I'm just a fan. I'm just watching.
I will admit the NFL draft is a lot more exciting, especially the first round.
Yeah. I also think the NFL draft is a lot more predictable because there's so many more positions that you can pick at. Whereas with basketball, it's just 5 places.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, but I don't know because if you think about this past draft, everyone knew who was going to go number 1. Pretty much everyone knew who was going to go number 2. Same thing with kind of 3, and then it kind of it could go a little bit of different ways with the Giants taking like the 6th best tackle, but that's a talk for another time. It's kind of similar because well, obviously the NBA draft has a lot less draft choices, but once you get out of the top 5, it does get really you honestly don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like we said, it's draft night. I mean, everyone's gonna get excited. If you're a sports fan of any kind, you're gonna get excited for any kind of draft night. By the way, it does look like it's Klay Thompson's right leg, which is good news because the torn ACL was in his left leg.
Oh, okay. Also, shout out Theo. Thank you for the comment. So yeah, Klay Thompson definitely. They're talking. I have ESPN pulled up to my left, and that's definitely all they're talking about.
Yep.
I don't know what that's. I really feel like it could be nothing, but I'm not sure. It's just because he was injured last year.
I don't know if that's enough to change their draft plan.
No, but I think that's what the media is hoping to kind of portray, and I bet it's nothing that serious. Because I was gonna say, but you kind of were talking. Trust me, I'm nowhere near the athlete that these people are. But I've injured my leg in a practice, and have barely been able to put weight on it, and then 3 days later I'm fine. So it could just be that. But I don't know.
Yeah, this could be the same thing as I rolled my ankle playing pickup in my driveway, and I wrap it up for a couple days, and then I'm fine the next week.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I really don't think this is going to affect draft night at all. Because if you pay attention to what NFL because most NFL teams definitely give you inside access and what they're doing most NFL teams have made the decision even before the day is unfolded, especially if you're a high draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think they pick a guard. I think they stick with what they need. Yeah, and like I'll have Sports Center up, so do you, and I get alerts on my phone when stuff happens. So I'll be the media guy. I'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah, I got my phone right here. I'm not missing anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what's left to talk about. I don't want to sit in silence for.
No, me
half an
neither.
hour.
But like, we could. I wanted to do this a little bit early just to make sure because for anyone who doesn't know, this is like our first official live stream. But if it
Officially, yes,
yeah.
It's our first live stream.
Well,
not we've gone live.
No, we've
6
gone.
times
We've done plenty of test runs, but nothing is official as how it's looking right now, which I'm so happy how it turned out. But nevertheless,
yeah, it looks good.
It does look good. And by the way, for anyone who is watching, we're going to be doing these every Sunday at around probably 6 o'clock Eastern time. Definitely going over the NFL, what happened that particular weekend. I'm definitely excited about that too.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're switching that over from podcast to live stream. I think it'll be interesting to see. Everyone will get to see behind the scenes, because I don't know if you're going to take the audio from the live stream and put it into a podcast.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna take this audio because this is probably gonna be like 3 hours long. But I'm definitely gonna take the audio from the Sunday live streams.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
Also, I haven't actually told you this, but there will most likely be, a Twitch stream coming soon too. Nice. But I've been I've been on the side, looking at any sources that have been trying to offer the PS5. I literally the first 2 days probably spent 6 hours trying to get that new PS5, and I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, it from what I've heard, they've probably got like 50 available for everybody, and they just said that's when it'll be released to the public. But they've only got like 50.
Well, I think they're
at least that's what it feels like, because like so little people have it.
Yeah, well, I think it's also a fact that even when they do briefly go on sale, they just get bought up by bots, and there's no chance.
Yeah.
Like literally, I'll be on like the whatever company's website, like 5 minutes before like the launch happens. Everything will be fine, and then literally the second that the clock strikes like whatever time it is that they launch, the website just freezes and nothing works. It's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But once I do have it, I'll definitely be creating that Twitch stream.
Nice.
I'm wondering what games I should stream, but I definitely will do what I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. So. Oh, I know what we could talk about for a little bit at least. Schroeder to the Lakers.
Oh yeah. That will I definitely see him as a starter. I mean, but the Lakers do make some dumb moves, so I could see him like maybe starting like Contagious Caldwell Pope over him.
Trading for a sixth-man of the year finalist, and only needing to give up Danny Green and a draft pick, like that's a W for the Lakers for me.
And the Thunder didn't even use Danny Green, but
right, yeah, and then they flipped him immediately for a cap dump.
People, some of the funniest stuff I've seen about the Danny Green trade is, how like I wonder how much that Oklahoma City Thunder Danny Green jersey is gonna go in 20 years. Because technically he was a part of the Oklahoma City Thunder for one day.
Yeah, well, I mean, Trevor Ariza was part of the Houston Rockets for like 15 hours.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same sort of thing. Yeah, but I like that move for the Lakers. I
wonder what Danny Green's agent says to him after he gets dealt to OKC. Like, because obviously, like you gotta think about, because obviously you live there now, so you gotta think about, oh, should I buy a house? And I wonder what that conversation looked like. Because obviously you're not gonna buy a house if you're gonna get dealt the next day.
No, I wouldn't do either. But the Lakers have done they've made so many bad deals that I think this is definitely kind of a step in, the right direction.
Yeah, I mean that starting lineup next year could look like Rajon Rondo, Dennis Schroeder, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
that sounds like a good starting lineup.
I mean, they won the championship this year, so nothing really.
Yeah, and then
change.
And then they got an upgrade at shooting guard, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely an upgrade at shooting guard.
Like even if you slide Rondo to shooting guard, which I don't think you would want to do because he's that stands. Like I think I would want to keep Rondo at the point and slide Schroeder to shooting guard. But you could really do either one and it would work because Schroeder is also a really good passer.
No, yeah, you could. There's so many possibilities. Schroeder can shoot. He's a good, kind of on ball playmaker, good passer. He's a veteran. He's got a lot of experience in this league. Obviously, he's probably not what he was, back when he played for the Hawks, which he was kind of an all-star there. But definitely a player who can come in and definitely start right away, in my opinion.
Yeah. I guess while on the topic of the Thunder, we could talk about CP3.
Yeah, I talked about that earlier in my last episode. I can't get my head around. I can't get my head around him being in a Suns uniform. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, then again, we couldn't really wrap our brains around him in a Thunder uniform either.
No, that's true.
I guess
that's true.
This is really no different.
I kind of compare it to like when you're playing like NBA and you do your own season and you do like a mock draft with everyone and you just put everyone on random teams. I feel like that's how at least I feel when I see like
that's how every NBA offseason feels all the time. If you're not a core star player on a team, chances are you're going to get shipped around.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's so much movement in the NBA now, especially because there's definitely been a shift towards like players having more say in like what happens. Actually, just got a question here. What do you think about Bruce Brown trade or the Robert Covington trade? I've been definitely a person who I think Robert Covington is a little bit overrated, if I might say so myself. I mean, I think he's not bad, especially for someone who came. I think he came out. He went to the D League and then kind of came up. But I mean, I like the move. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. Bruce Brown and all that stuff. It's just because obviously I'm not a Bruce Brown fan, but I don't know. Like Robert Covington is not that big of an impact, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like the Bruce Brown deal, like I didn't even know that he got traded. I needed to Google it while you were talking about Robert Covington. Bruce Brown going to the Nets. It sounds like white noise to me. I don't think it'll be a huge deal. Robert Covington, on the other hand, I really like that trade for Portland. Actually, because what's up?
Brian Allard just said in the chat, Chamo smells bad.
I probably do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that move for Portland to pick up a legitimate starting power forward in Robert Covington.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what you said, it's like white noise, but it's interesting. I mean, I think Robert Covington, I think he's definitely a good team guy. I think he's definitely, kind of one of those players you can kind of just rely on to be just like a good, solid player. But does he really like move the meter a lot? Not really.
Yeah, like does he turn them into title contenders? I don't think so.
No.
But I think it's a good move for them to jump up a couple seeds in the West.
Yeah, I think it's not no impact, but I'm not even if I was a fan or of I honestly can't remember what team got him. I wouldn't be that happy.
I think Rocco started in Minnesota actually.
He did start in Minnesota, but I actually think his spot was being threatened by that Josh Okogie dude who people really like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he got drafted by, ironically, the Houston Rockets.
That's funny.
Played in Philly for a little bit. Actually, played in Philly for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I most
Played in
remember him
Minnesota
from.
for a little bit, and then got signed by Houston, and then got dealt to Portland.
Dude,
So,
if
yeah.
you're watching ESPN right now, in 3 games when James Wiseman played for Memphis, the dude averaged 20, 10, and 3 blocks. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous
that's
for
wild.
college.
Yeah, even if it is 3 games, like to have those numbers through 3 games is nuts.
I don't
Only
understand.
topping the number 6 overall prospect. Who's 4 and 5? I wonder.
I just saw a question that said, wait,
Fours. One of them's probably the other one is.
I think someone just asked about LaMelo going to the Warriors. Um,
Not gonna happen.
yeah, probably not going to happen. I mean, LaMelo Ball, if he doesn't go number one, I won't be like entirely shocked, but I would be somewhat shocked. I mean, because I mocked him as my number one overall prospect and number one choice tonight. I think Minnesota really do like him. I think he could kind of play, anywhere from 1 to 3. I know Minnesota already has D'Angelo Russell, but I mean, this draft is not good. It's really not good at all. But LaMelo definitely has the highest ceiling of anyone in this draft. So if he doesn't go number one, I would be kind of shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Warriors necessarily need a guard. I mean, if they find out before they have to draft that Klay Thompson suddenly has to be out for half the year and they need a guard, maybe they pick up LaMelo. But I think LaMelo goes first overall anyways. So I don't know. I don't think they need a guard, but
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also wanted to kind of talk about because I talked about how obviously there we can predict the top five or whatever, but there's every year there's a lot of talk about who like the prospect that goes kind of under the radar that really pops in the NBA. Because one year it was like Donovan Mitchell, another year it's some other like Devontae Graham is a great one as well.
this year it was Tyro, I think.
Yeah, this year was Tyler Hero. Even though he was a little bit higher than those other two guys, but definitely still not really like one of the top prospects. I think this year I would probably put money on it even. I say that Cole Anthony is the prospect that no one really looks upon that seriously and really has a solid NBA career. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got hype as a top 5 pick, and then other guards sort of emerged, and Cole Anthony sort of more and more. I definitely think, Cole Anthony could be that guy. I also think could also have a good career.
Yeah, I'm big on him
Sort
too.
of that underlying, small forward shooting guard type of build that could really, do a lot for a team if they use him well. And then, who's I can't remember his name. Who's the guy from Villanova is supposed to go like super early? I can't remember his name.
Who are you talking about?
There's a guy from Villanova that is supposed to go like top 10 team.
Oh, is that Sadiq Bey guy?
Sadiq Bey, yep, that's his name. Yeah, I think he could be really successful.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I didn't watch too much of his tape, but I definitely like him when he kind of brings it to the table. You also mentioned Isaac Okoro, who I'm really high on. I think he'll probably go. I could even see him going like top 6. I'm a really big fan of him.
Mhm.
Even like people who are like prospects that are like projected in the second round. I've been looking at that. Obviously, big up Devon Dotson and Udoko Azubuike, who will probably get drafted tonight. But I don't think either one of them honestly will be that great NBA
Yeah,
players.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about second round talent that we really like, I'm gonna go ahead and say Cassius Winston out of Michigan State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like it. I liked him when he was in Michigan State a lot. I like a lot, a lot, a lot. Like I think he was he's probably one of my favorite players to watch in this draft class.
Uh,
Um,
well, let me interrupt you because someone just asked in the chat. What do you guys think about the Knicks? And I'll let Jacob handle that one.
Trainwreck is a good way to describe them. You know,
For anyone who doesn't know, Jacob is a massive Knicks fan.
yeah. Well, okay, not a massive. I don't watch a whole lot of, but like I'm not
You're a
super
Knicks fan.
invested
Admit
in
it. You're a
basketball.
massive Knicks
Yeah, no,
fan.
not massive. I won't say massive, but yes, I am a Knicks fan. I do like the Knicks. It's a perk of being a Yankees fan and a Giants fan and a Rangers fan. Is being a Knicks fan. They all sort of fall in the New York City sports teams category, whereas the Mets, the Jets, the Nets, and
Answer the question.
what am I forgetting? The Islanders fall in the other category. What do I think of the Knicks? I think they need a guard in the draft, or they are in deep trouble. I think they're shaking the management. I don't know if that's going to be beneficial. They don't really have a whole lot of bright spots. RJ Barrett really being the only bright spot, and considering his age, Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson is going to be their center of the future, but they need a lot of help in a lot of different places. Um, and I think that starts with the draft because if they can draft really well, then they'll be able to make a case to land a big star in free agency if they want to go after a big star. Do I think they'll be able to? No, because we failed to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving last season. Um,
Lol.
yeah, lol. Yeah, the mere idea of having the possibility of Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving on the same team on the Knicks was awesome
This
for
was
me.
this was last
But
year. What are you talking about?
but this was all last year, and I knew it was all going to be white noise. Um, because I knew that there was a lottery system. Like just because we were awful and just because we're the Knicks doesn't mean that we're automatically going to get the first overall pick, which I think is what a lot of people were expecting.
No,
That,
I
like, just because
understand
we're the
that, but
Knicks,
you're not really answering the question. My opinion is the Knicks tonight absolutely need a guard. I actually could see them
need
making
a
it.
guard.
They absolutely could trade up, in my opinion. I think a lot of teams could trade up potentially, but they need a guard. And I like Tyrese Halliburton, but I don't love Tyrese Halliburton. You also mentioned earlier in the stream about Killian Hayes.
I think they draft Killian Hayes tonight.
Yeah, I
If
could,
they don't trade up.
yeah, because the Knicks definitely are a fan of international players, and I'm always a little bit skeptical towards international players myself. But if they like Killian Hayes, take Killian Hayes, man, because you guys do definitely need some guard help.
Yeah, we need a guard because Elfrid Payton is not
I don't think
good.
he's good enough.
And I don't even know who. I guess technically our shooting guard is RJ Barrett, but I would much rather have him at the 3, because I don't want Mo Harkless to start as our small forward. I don't think we're going to re-sign him anyway. Yeah, I would love our starting 5 next year to be, or I guess this year technically I would love for that to be Elfrid Payton.
Elfrid Payton is a good backup.
Killian Hayes.
He's a good backup.
See, I don't know if he's going to back up because I would love to be able to slide RJ Barrett to the 3, which is where he's most comfortable. And I would love, as much as I want Elfrid Payton to back up, I don't see any other than him backing up Killian Hayes and having like Alonso Trier start at shooting guard, which I think is an even worse possibility.
No, that would be that would not be best.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I think Elfrid Payton starts at point guard. I think Killian Hayes starts at shooting guard.
Is he big enough?
And then,
how tall is he? I think he's only 6'1". I might be totally wrong, honestly.
Is he that short?
Maybe 6'2".
I don't think he is.
So wait, but here's my question to you also. When as you're looking,
he's 6'5". He's good.
Oh, my bad. Jesus Christ, that's actually a lot better. But
yeah.
But here's also my question to you. If the Knicks don't take either, well, obviously they get drafted, they can't. But if the Knicks don't take Tyrese Halliburton or Killian Hayes, are you pissed off as a fan?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think if they don't take any guard, I think you should be upset because you've got there's no reason to pick a center because you're gonna throw so much money at Mitchell Robinson for him to stay around and be the center of the future. I think with the amount of money that you threw at Julius Randle, there's no point in picking a power forward. And you drafted RJ Barrett with the intention of him playing small forward.
Yeah,
and the only reason he played shooting guard toward the end of the season was because you traded away Marcus Morris and brought in Mo Harkless to start at small forward.
Yeah.
So I mean, you drafted RJ Barrett to be your small forward. You threw a lot of money at Julius Randle to be your power forward. And Mitchell Robinson is, how old is he? 22, 23?
Not old at all.
And he's already like a phenomenal defensive center. Like he's a great blocker. He's a great post defender. And you're going to throw a lot of money at him too. So I think if you don't pick a guard here, I don't know what you pick if it's not a guard.
I'm not really too worried. I do think you guys do take a guard. Someone asked a really interesting question in the chat. It said, "Do you think anyone could replace Kobe and his input that he had on the basketball world?" That is a really interesting question. One that I was not expected to see tonight. I definitely think someone could, have a similar impact that he did. I definitely think like Zion could probably have, a substantial impact if he does become, at what everyone thinks that he could be. But in terms of like the mentality that Kobe kind of put across, the sports world, or like the drive that obviously, like defined who Kobe was, I'm just going to say no. I really don't see anyone who could, even come close to what Kobe did in terms of that way.
Here's my opinion. Kobe, you can, and you mentioned Zion. For the sake of comparing in terms of position, I'm going to throw Ja Morant and Trae Young and Luka Doncic into this conversation as well, because they are all young
I would agree with that.
Who could evolve into really good, really good players. You can be the best basketball player in the world, but have the likability that Kobe did.
No. Nope. I totally agree.
I don't think a single soul on this earth hated Kobe Bryant. And obviously you could make the case that LeBron James might have that cultural impact that Kobe did, but Cleveland Cavaliers fans were burning his jerseys when he announced that he was going to go play for Miami.
Well, they
booed him out of the arena in his first game in a Heat uniform in the Quicken Loans arena.
I hear what you're saying, but that's kind of like a totally different circumstance. That was the reason why they had people who were burning jerseys because LeBron. I think LeBron had talked about how he was not going to leave or anything like that, and that obviously didn't happen. But when Kobe died, the whole this is pre-COVID, the whole world metaphorically shut down. Everyone who was a sports fan knew who Kobe was, and felt some sort of pain when he died. There's not many athletes in the entire world who, if like God forbid that something like that happened to them, that would be the reaction as sports fans. So like what that question says, like can anyone replicate what Kobe did? That's why I say no, because we've never really seen like an athlete's death like get that sort of response.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think that's why I'm saying no as well, because like the cultural that Kobe had on everyone's lives, and the sort of mentality, like you said, the Mamba mentality that he brought to a lot of people's lives. Like if you ask any young superstar like who their favorite player growing up was, number one answer is going to be MJ, and the number two answer is going to be Kobe.
Yes, that's fairly accurate. Someone also asked to really this isn't great. They said, do you think D Rose will be a Hall of Famer? I would lean towards no.
I would lean towards no as well, only because of how injured he got.
He hadn't played enough.
Obviously, he had an MVP season multiple times, and he was an All-Star multiple times, but he still has yet to win a ring, to my knowledge.
Yeah, he has not won a ring.
And if he had played as many games as he did, like if he played games that he didn't play because he was hurt, is what I'm trying to say. Like he could have been so much better. And the fact that he's already a great player. Like he's gonna go down as one of the best like modern day point guards in the NBA.
Agreed.
In my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I would definitely lean towards no.
And he was just held back so much by knee injuries that it just stunted him.
Yeah, I definitely are not. I'm not the biggest fan of D Rose making the Hall of Fame, but not his fault. Like absolutely not really his fault at all, because just absolutely not. Like injuries happen, and you can't. They're unpredictable, and he did win that MVP award, but that's his biggest lifetime career achievement, and that's not, in my opinion, that's not enough for him to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do when you tear your ACL and it sidelines you for your entire career, and it provides major setbacks for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do about that when that moment hits.
No. All right, it is officially 7:30. So, if Jacob is correct, then it is go time.
Yeah, I think, like you said, there's going to be a little bit of coverage beforehand. I don't know if Minnesota's going to be on the clock within like 5 minutes. I think there's going to be some coverage. I don't know if I don't see Adam Silver anywhere. But if you're watching along at home, there's the first round of picks, and there's your panel sitting nearby.
I'm hopeful that it will update as the draft goes along, but I can't promise anything. Yeah, again, this is our first time doing this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, and if it's not working on our live stream, hopefully you've got the draft on some sort of monitor nearby you. I mean, there you go. NBA Draft begins in 27 and change minutes, so they're actually going to start until 8:00.
No, they're not going to. They're just going to. For viewers, they unfortunately have to listen to Jay Billis for quite a while.
Yeah, which I mean, yeah,
I'm not a fan of Jay Billis.
as much as I like him, like hearing anyone talk for half an hour nonstop.
I do like how he criticizes the NCAA. I do like how Jay Billis criticizes the NCAA because the NCAA is trash in so many ways, but Jay Billis is biased towards like Duke, especially when he's announcing college games is some of the most annoying stuff I've ever heard.
I'm pretty sure he's a Duke alum. That's why.
He is a Duke alum.
Yeah.
But still, keep your bias out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's your job.
Number one rule of journalism.
Number one. Even yeah.
Like, what do we do now? Like, what do we do for a half hour?
We could just talk, man. We just, because the chat's starting to go a little bit. Yeah, definitely put a question in the chat.
I mean, we're getting people, so yeah. I mean, give us stuff to talk about, please, because we're bored.
I'm not bored. We're just kind of lacking conversation.
Yeah, that's fair. We need stuff. We need content.
Also, for anyone watching, I've put up, my social media links at the top here. Because the bulk of what, me and Jacob do are on Apple Podcasts. So if you guys are podcast fans, there's definitely some good content on because we do upload on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We upload our podcasts to a lot of, streaming services. So I would definitely be shocked if, you can't find us. So look up HQI Sports if you guys are, interested in what you're seeing.
Yeah, I second. Go follow us, turn on notifications, make sure you're notified to whenever we post. If our Instagram stories are not enough for you.
I'm terrible at Instagram, to be honest.
It's fine.
But yeah, the Twitter account and the podcast are definitely where it's at. I am gonna be definitely uploading more to this channel now. Now that we have the live stream, we have it figured out finally. Definitely gonna be a lot more live streams to come. Hey, Samin's in the chat. That's my boy.
All right. Question just came in. I'll read it out, and then I'll answer it.
Let me do it.
Where's Harden? Where's Harden playing at the start of the season?
I think it might be Brooklyn. It could. I talked about this earlier. Like,
you think he does go to Brooklyn?
Well, let me tell you something. I posted the last episode, and literally 2 minutes later, I was checking my phone, and I saw something that Harden had officially signed with it, but it was fake news. I was so angry because I literally just posted something talking about it, and then I would have missed it. But everything that I have seen recently tells me that he is gonna be a Brooklyn Net, and I can't wrap my head around it because yes, that would be something awesome. That'd be so awesome to see. I wouldn't like it. I don't think it would work for their team.
Yeah, I mean, all signs point to Brooklyn for Harden. I definitely think, because I know Russell Westbrook has also been vocal about wanting a trade out of Houston. I don't think they both get dealt out. I think one of them stays and one of them gets dealt. And I think the one that gets dealt is Russell Westbrook. I don't think James Harden gets dealt out. I mean, I think if they want to build a contender, I think they're able to do it without Russell Westbrook, because I think when he got dealt to Houston, I think the leadership tandem between him and James Harden was not what he was expecting, because the leader in that locker room is James Harden. And I think Russell Westbrook is also a great locker room leader, but I don't think he does well as sort of a second in command.
No, I agree.
So I think I don't think Russell Westbrook becomes as Harden gets dealt. I think they're going to deal Russell Westbrook if they deal either one of the two. I don't think they deal both.
I saw an interesting trade scenario from a pretty reliable source, to be honest, that the Washington Wizards and the Rockets were discussing a trade, John Wall for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, John Wall. Yeah, I did.
That would be insane.
That
just straight up John Wall for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, just 1-for-1. That would be interesting, and I don't think there would be a clear winner and
No, there
loser
would
of that
not.
trade right away.
Because, they both have their flaws. Like Russell Westbrook, obviously he's an all-star. He's one of the best point guards, in my opinion, to ever play. But he's not a great team guy. And, if you have Russell Westbrook on your team, you're going to have to give him the ball, more than other people.
Yeah, he demands the spotlight. For sure.
And it's not like a massive problem because he's really darn good, but his game is so focused around speed and athleticism, and I just fear once he gets he's not like totally old now, but he's definitely getting older. I feel like he's one of those players that like maybe like he'll have that 1 year where like everything just kind of falls off. Maybe he doesn't, I'm not sure, but but then on the other side, John Wall hasn't played in like forever because he had that really bad injury to his knee, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know who wins that trade.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, Washington, sort of their leader. Not to say that John Wall isn't a good locker room leader, but Russell Westbrook is definitely a better leader than John Wall is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And John Wall sort of plays second fiddle to James Harden, which I think could play out really well if that does happen 1-for-1.
Also, shout outs to Sohail who just subscribed to the channel.
Oh boy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I want to see the draft order to see who's got a whole lot of picks.
We also just got another question from, I can't see the name, but Curdy Lowe. Are Drew Holiday, Bogdanovich enough to keep Giannis in Milwaukee? That is actually a great question. One that I actually talked about and discussed in my latest episode. You can see the podcast link at the top right there. My take is absolutely not. I'm not a fan of. Well, I'm not I'm not anti that trade, but I don't think it's enough. I actually also saw a report right before we started recording, from a pretty well trusted source that the Bogdanovich trade isn't actually confirmed yet, which would be really interesting if that didn't actually happen. But it might just be fake news. Who knows? But even if it is true, in that Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich are now playing for the Bucks. If I'm Giannis, that's not enough for me. It honestly isn't. I know that he's not going to leave probably this year unless they trade him, but that'd just be weird. But if I'm Giannis, I'm out of Milwaukee. I'm out of there. The last 2 years, they have massively underperformed in the playoffs. And if you want to try to, build a legacy as one of the best to ever do it, you leave Milwaukee and you go to somewhere like Miami or, Jesus Christ, I don't want to even say it because it'll probably end up happening, the Lakers or the Warriors. But I really think that Miami would be a really interesting spot for Giannis. So the answer to the question just directly, no, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, I mean, Josh already shared his sort of first reactions to the trade, and I haven't, to both the Drew Holiday trade and the Bogdanovich trade. So I'm going to do that right now. The absolutely fleeced the Bucks to give out Drew Holiday. It was a fleecing.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
For Drew Holiday, it was so much just for Drew Holiday, and that was it. That was all the Pelicans were giving them. And then Bogdanovich for an even smaller fleecing, which I'm pretty sure it was
Sacramento actually got some players that I like. I like Dante DiVincenzo or whatever how you say his last name, and they also got
Ersan Ilyasova also went over there.
I like him too.
And the Pelicans got Eric Bledsoe,
George Hill,
and they got someone else and like 3 picks. Yeah, George Hill, and like 3 first-round picks. Or
Milwaukee.
That's crazy.
Milwaukee didn't like devastatingly lose that trade or those 2 trades, but they definitely didn't like. They nowhere secured Giannis's spot as a Milwaukee Buck. I'll just say that. Also, Curdy Lowe just asked another question. Ben Simmons for Michael Porter Jr. Who says no? I definitely think.
Is it straight up?
It looks straight up. So
Ben Simmons straight up for Michael Porter Jr.
I say Sixers say pretty much absolutely not. But I'm not.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna give up a franchise piece like Ben Simmons, you're gonna ask for a lot more than just Michael Porter Jr.
I guess the question is kind of like trying to say that Michael Porter obviously. He looked pretty darn good the last during the bubble playoffs, which I've been calling them. But there's also been a lot of analytics out there that say that Michael Porter Jr. is an absolutely terrible defender. So I don't know how much better he gets better at that. But kind of just going back, I'm not the biggest Ben Simmons fan. I feel like he really takes away. He makes the offense of the particular team he's playing for very limited. So that's my knock on Ben Simmons. Even though he's a great player, he's absolutely a great player. Don't take it wrong. But I do feel like the Ben Simmons era in Philadelphia is coming to a close.
Yeah. I want to go back to the question about Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich. Confirmed by a lot of people very recently, including Woj. Bogdanovich is going to be a free agent this summer.
That's interesting.
Like, I don't think that trade happened.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, like I said before. Why
the Bucks keep? I mean, I guess the positive in that is that the Bucks keep a young guard in DiVincenzo, in case Giannis does leave, which because I don't think he's going to find success in Milwaukee. I think he's going to go find it somewhere else. But they do keep a young guard that they can build around in DiVincenzo, who I think is really talented.
I like him a lot.
And they keep. I think they sent a pick as well to Sacramento. They keep that pick, which is beneficial for them. But yeah, I guess Bogdanovich is going to be a free agent on Friday. So
yeah, so that trade actually might not have happened, which would be really interesting, and even more of a case of why Giannis does not would probably want to leave Milwaukee. I would love to see Giannis in Miami, just to be honest. I think that would be really interesting.
I think it would be really, really funny if that happened.
It'd be another kind of like Chris Paul situation where I can't really see him in that uniform, but it'd just be really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we are 15 minutes away from, I think, Minnesota being on the clock.
Yeah.
Right when the clock...
And it'll be a little bit after that, too, because they take all 5 minutes that they're given.
Right when the clock starts, we should make our prediction.
For what? Top 5? Like
no, like what we think Minnesota will do.
Oh, okay.
Like for each team as it goes through. But yeah, 15 minutes away, and we are going to be live for the entire thing. And yeah, leave us post some questions in the chat. We'll be free. We'll answer pretty much anything. Anything draft related, that is, or NBA.
Did you see this? Will teams take LeVar Ball into account when considering taking LaMelo?
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously. He's the loudest guy in any room. And I think for the same reason that the Pelicans considered LeVar when they drafted no, he went to the Lakers. I apologize. He drafted by the Pelicans. But I guess LeVar wanted him to go to Los Angeles, and he ended up going to Los Angeles.
Well, and then
he got traded to New Orleans. So
well,